Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Woodmere Estate Revival. We are down here by the pool today, wrapping up the last of the plumbing. Yesterday we worked with the loop that we had to install all the way around the pool for our deck jets. That's the water feature that will spray up out of the pool deck into the pool, make some nice splashing noise, give something for the kids to play in. Should add some nice ambiance around the pool. It wasn't too bad a project, was it, honey?
No, it was pretty easy.
Yeah, Amber was here, my dad was here, and we knocked it out pretty quickly. We were trying to get everything finished up in the pool house yesterday, but unfortunately some rain blew in late in the afternoon and we didn't get all of that taken care of. But today we're down here wrapping up the last of the loop for the deck jets, and then we're going to get into the pool house and glue all that stuff solid. So we're pretty much ready for pressure testing after that, huh?
Yay.
Making good progress.
Definitely.
So let's take a look and see what we got done yesterday, and then we'll catch you guys up here as we progress today. So this is the loop we put in the ground yesterday. With these deck jets, it's really important that they're all shooting out at the same height. And so some pool builders will do an individual line for each one of them, all the way back to the pool house, and then put a ball valve on every single one of those. But the general recommendation is to build a loop of 1.5-inch pipe all the way around the pool and tee all of your deck jet lines into that loop. That way it's an equal pressure loop and you've got the same pressure, same amount of water going to every single one of the deck jets. So we wanted our deck jets spaced out about 16 inches from the side of the pool. And as you can see, we've used rebar and tie wire and have supported the pipes at approximately 16 inches away from the side of the pool. And then we spaced our jets out. We've got a 40-foot pool here, so we spaced our deck jets out every 10 feet, centered one up and then went 10 feet from that. So it's really going to look nice symmetry, and they'll be splashing in from both sides. The deck jets that we bought are, you can aim them, and you can also interchange the nozzles. They come with a single or a dual stream nozzle, so you can have some fun with that. And we'll have a nice light down in the deep end here. That old school light is going away. That thing is probably original to the pool, and we're going to be putting in a Hayward LED light that is remote controlled from our pool panel and remote controlled from the app, so that we can change the color and do all kinds of fun stuff with that. But it's going to be brighter than the original and safer because it's only 12 volt, and then it's also going to allow us to have some fun with the light and do different colors. So our balance pressure loop comes to a T here, and it's 1.5 inches, like I said, all the way around the pool, and then 3/4 up to the deck jets, and then from the pool house to the loop it is 2-inch. So that's as far as we got yesterday. We got it run there. Looking inside the pool house, you see that horizontal coming across the top there. That is actually the line for the deck jets. There's a second pump in the pool house there that allows us to control the water feature and the filtration system independently of each other. So that works out pretty great. So anyways, we got this loop knocked out. We just cut some 3/4-inch pieces of pipe to stick in each of the T's here. And then we're just gonna put a cap on top of those for now. We gotta get in here and do some backfilling. We gotta backfill with sand on top of all of our plumbing. And then we'll actually have to come back with earth and gravel on top of that, get it all good and compacted, and then we're gonna be laying out a rebar support network and getting ready to pour concrete. At that phase, once we have the rebar support network down, we'll actually set our final positioning on each of these pipes for the deck jets, and then we'll actually cut the pipe and set the jet. It gets glued to that 3/4-inch pipe, and then we'll put a special construction cap on top of that because the concrete gets poured right around it. So once the concrete's dry, you pull that construction cap off and put the deck jet and the little fancy cap on top of it. In the meantime, we also have to get our skimmers set in concrete. So on either side of the skimmer, we're going to be drilling in for rebar. We'll be epoxying the rebar into the pool, the side of the pool there, and then we'll actually form up around the skimmer, around all those lines, and pour concrete and pour the skimmer solid to the side of the pool, which will make it nice and stable and prevent any leaks around the skimmer itself. Walking over to the pool house here, this is what we're going to get finished up here today. Again, you've got that 2-inch line coming across the top here, that horizontal. I still got to finalize the connections there. That's got a 3-way valve attached to it, and then you can see there's a pump right there that it's hooked to. And this 3/4 horse pump is specifically for the deck jets. Now, they won't take all of that volume of water, so we had to have that 3-way valve on there. And what that allows us to do is send, 30-40% of that water to the deck jets, to the water feature. And then the rest of it actually goes back into circulation. And the way we have it teed in there, and with that check valve, the check valve keeps it from going backwards, back through the heater, back through the filter, back flowing into the return system. We don't want that. The check valve makes it go forward through the flow switch, the salt cell, back over here into the return system. On this side of the return system, you can see another check valve. That goes into another 3-way. That 3-way valve controls the flow of water between the 4 wall returns and the flow return. This top line is the flow return. And so the idea there is that we can have that one controlled with a motor, just like the other 3-way valves that'll be operated off our control panel. And automatically, when the pool heater kicks on, that 3-way valve will send 80, 90, 100% of the water to the floor returns, so that all of that heated water lands in the bottom of the pool, and then of course it's going to rise up through the pool, and that will help better heat the water there. If it all just came into the wall returns, then all that heated water would just sit on top of the pool and you'd have a really cold bottom. So that's going to allow us to have better circulation and better heating throughout the layers of water in the pool. And then we've got individual ball valves on all of them, so if there's ever a problem, we can shut them in. The ball valves have unions on them, so we can break the whole system apart and service it. And then if we need to flow more water to certain wall returns versus others, that allows us to customize the flow, to each wall return, so that we get a balanced circulation on the surface of the pool, moving stuff into the skimmers. So a pretty complicated system, a lot of stuff crammed into this small space. You got a big variable speed pump there, and again, that's going to be the main circulating pump that will control the flow of the water through the pool and into the skimmers. You've got a huge sand filter. That sucker takes 700 pounds of sand or 350 pounds of Zeo sand. We're going to go with the Zeo sand just so we can have the lighter option, but it's also more of a high-tech product, and you can recycle it in your flower beds when you're done. And we got our new Hayward natural gas heater over there, 300,000 BTUs, so we ought to be able to keep this pool nice and warm during the cooler months of the year and get more use out of the pool. So there you have it. It's a pretty significant improvement over the old system. That stuff was pretty archaic, old school, inefficient. All the lines were 1.5 inch, not 2 inch, so there was definitely some restrictions of flow in the system. So we've got a setup now that is customizable, it's expandable, we can add additional features to it. The Hayward control panel that we have will control our salt system, our pumps, our water features, the light. All of that stuff can be controlled via app, so we can be on vacation and make sure the pool is still working like it's supposed to. We're going to add another piece of equipment in the room here, in the pump room. That's going to allow us to keep the level of the pool constant. It allows you to auto-fill anytime the level of the pool drops below a certain level. So that will protect your equipment, all this investment here, making sure that stuff doesn't get burned up if the water level drops too low when you're on vacation. And we're also going to add at some point a acid tank so that we can automatically control the pH as well. So lots of cool stuff has come out since this pool was built, and we're certainly modernizing the entire system. It's going to make it much easier for us to maintain, just be able to enjoy it and not have to work on it all the time. So we're excited about that. We're going to get to work here, start gluing some stuff together, and we'll keep you updated as we make progress today.
So you're getting ready to glue the 3/4 inch pipe.
Yes, so these are the risers that go to each one of our deck jets.
Right. And the glue, is it like a 2-part, is it an epoxy or what is it?
So this is called solvent welding.
Okay.
So that's why it smells so good. It's got all those good solvents in there.
Yeah.
But it's a 2-part system. They make a single part system, but
Okay.
most plumbers would tell you that this stuff works better. So you put
Okay.
a primer on, that makes sure the
That's the
surface
purple.
is nice and clean. You don't have to use purple. They do make primer in non-purple. But I like the purple stuff because you can see exactly where you got it. You know, there's no question that you
Yeah.
got the whole thing primed. And then you got your solvent glue here.
Okay.
I use the extra heavy duty stuff. It's more gel-like.
Okay.
They make some other stuff that's medium duty, which would be fine for lower pressure systems like
Yeah.
this. But the nice thing is that this stuff sticks
Yeah.
where you put it. It doesn't drool off of all the fittings.
I mean,
So, yeah. So then you butter up your.
that just looks fun with that pom-pom.
It is. You butter up your male and female ends here. Just put a good coating on there, and squish a little down in there. And then as you're pushing it together, you give it about a quarter turn twist.
Okay.
That ensures you get good coverage across the entire joint. And if you're not careful, it will push out
Okay.
because of the
Just the pressure.
adhesive in there.
Okay.
It tends to push that back out.
Okay.
And so you just keep some pressure on it for 15 seconds, and then that stuff's just solvent welded together.
Okay.
It will never come apart.
That's awesome.
The joint is now stronger than the pipe itself. So much better. When this pool was built, it was built with galvanized plumbing,
Yeah.
and I can only imagine the pain in the rear that was. They would have to cut each piece of galvanized pipe, and then they had a pipe threading machine or a hand-operated pipe threader. It's like
Wow.
a ratchet
Yeah.
system, and you got to cut and thread each individual piece of pipe, and then screw them all together with a bunch of pipe dope. The problem is when you cut them and thread them, the threaded end no longer has the galvanized coating on it, so that's
Right.
the first part to rust.
Oh.
And so all the old plumbing that we were taking out of here,
Yeah, it was
you could
just-
just break the fittings apart
Yeah.
at the joints because the rust had just eaten through the pipe right there at the joint.
Yeah. Well, that's
And they rust out from the inside
right.
because all that rust and scale just keeps rusting right through your pipes on the inside. So at some point they modernized a little bit. They came back with black poly pipe
Yeah.
and replumbed the skimmers and replumbed the main drain and the floor drain. So they fixed some of that stuff, and then at some point they came back again, abandoned the black poly skimmer lines and put down some PVC and ran
Okay.
those through the front of the pump house. So this pool had several variations of plumbing over the course of its life since '66, I think is when it was built.
Well, let's hope this PVC lasts a long time.
But I think it'll outlast me, you,
That's the important thing.
kids, whoever ends up in this place next. This stuff has a really long lifespan, so I don't think we'll have any
Alright.
problems.
Sounds good. All right, babe. Would you like to tell everyone what you just did?
Well, we just got the last pipe fitted.
Woohoo!
It's this top one.
Yes.
That's the one that goes to the deck jets. One thing we have to do is we're waiting on a fitting to get here. It's a other check valve.
Right.
Waiting on that to get here, and then we'll split this pipe somewhere.
Okay.
And put that check valve in there.
All right.
And that's to keep your deck jets from backflowing every time you turn them off.
Oh,
So
okay.
that that pipe doesn't drain.
Okay.
And then when they turn on, you're waiting for the water to go back through, and then they turn on. And so
Okay.
this will keep them from sucking air every time they turn off.
All right.
So we do need that check valve in there. But everything's glued up until this point.
All right. So all the pipes that go into the
All
manifold.
the valves back. All this,
Okay,
this
all the stuff in
manifold,
the
all that
bottom.
stuff's glued.
All right. So we've got.
Just a matter of starting to break some of this stuff down.
Yeah.
Double check the fit on everything. And then went ahead and gluing them all together.
Right. You said we need to install the anode
Yeah, that
back
goes
here
back
on
in
that
that.
back pipe.
Yeah, between your filter housing and the heater
Okay.
is where your anode goes, and that protects your plumbing.
Okay.
For the saltwater system especially, you got to have a sacrificial anode because that keeps the water from leaching out the metal on your diving board and your ladders
Okay.
and all your pool equipment, your heater, and all that sort of stuff. So it protects all of your.
Is that something we have to
Equipment.
replace every so often?
Yeah, they say every year or two that thing will be depleted.
Okay.
And then it just spins apart. You just replace the zinc cartridge and
Okay.
then screw it back together. So it's not too bad.
Okay. And then you said there's something else on one of these lines back there that we need to do too.
Yeah, we got to
Right.
put another three-way valve or another ball valve on this valve.
Okay.
That line back there.
Which is
That's-
that gray and red valve. Just
Yeah,
another one of
these.
those.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we got to split this one and put another one of those ball valves there.
Okay.
Those two things allows you to regulate, your flow
Yeah.
on each individual feature, but it also, with the unions, it allows you to kind of break stuff apart.
Okay.
And when you have the unions on there, then you can take pieces apart to service it, and theoretically we can
Oh,
take
okay.
all this stuff out
Okay.
without having to cut stuff apart.
Well, that's cool.
That allows you to work on something,
Yeah.
replace your pump, whatever you have
Okay.
to do.
Instead of
Without
cutting
having to tear
lines
everything
apart.
apart. Right.
Yeah.
So unions are really handy for that.
Awesome. All right, let's get the stuff glued.
Okay. So Amber's working down in the pool with the roto hammer, chiseling away at some of the excess mortar that dripped out from underneath our new coping. How's it going, babe?
Awesome. You want to see how easy it is?
Yeah, let's see what's going on here.
All right.
Show us how it works.
Comes up real easy.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Awesome job, babe.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Well, as you can see, we got it all tore apart in here. Kind of feels like you're going backwards when you start taking it all apart to mark and glue everything, but necessary step. We got this run is done. That's the anode sitting there. That sacrificial anode gets hooked up to our bonding network. All this equipment gets bonded together. The pump, the heater, this pump, the sacrificial anode, and the pool itself all get bonded together, and that helps to prevent electric shock. It creates an equal potential voltage network across the entire pool, and that helps prevent electric shock should something happen with the equipment. And then, of course, all the equipment gets grounded to the electric panel, which is going to go right there. But we're in the process of taking all these parts that we had to take out and mocking them back up again, marking the angles on all the joints, and then gluing everything back together. So it's coming together nicely, but yeah, you got to mark all your angles, otherwise once you get the glue on there, you glue it back together in the wrong spot, and then you're in big trouble. So Dad's been manning the saw, cutting a bunch of little pieces, and making it easier for me to sit on my tuchus and glue stuff together. It's been a great effort here, hasn't it, Dad?
That's right. Somebody's got to be the swamper.
Somebody's got to be the swamper, man the saw, and get stuff cut. So we're going to take all this stuff and get it mocked back up and glued together, and hopefully have it all knocked out by the end of the day. Looking forward to it. Well, this is as far as I got today. I was hoping to get it all glued together, but we ran into a couple issues where we had to redo some things. Add some length here and take away some length here, but really happy with where we're ending up. Currently the main circulating pump is glued in place. All those fittings are glued. The return going to the heater is glued in place, and the return coming out of the heater, coming over here through this check and to this T, has all been glued in place. Our accessory pump, or our deck jet pump, has been glued in place. The deck jet supply line comes out of the top here and goes over into that pipe that's sitting up there. And I had to change it a little bit too, so I had to cut the one off and shorten it a little bit. I'll get that glued in place hopefully tomorrow evening. And then I got to get our salt system glued in place. So from this T around over to this check, all that needs to be glued in place. So made a lot of progress today, but it's kind of slow going because as we started gluing things together, we realized that we were a little tight in places or a little too fat in places. So we had to go back through and either, like I said, remove some pipe or add some additional length in places. So it's going to work out fine, but it's just real fiddly work. I mean, you have to go through and test fit, and just it takes a while to get everything fitted, refitted, glued, and then moving on down the line. So good progress today. Happy to have my dad here giving me a hand as always. Amber and the boys got back a little while ago to check on me and are happy with the progress. As you saw, Amber was working down in the bottom of the pool. She went through where the masons had come and set the stone coping. She went through and removed all the excess mortar that had kind of fallen off and landed down on the edge of the pool and piled up there and dried. So she took the roto hammer, knocked all that stuff loose, and swept it up in a pile. So we'll get that out of there And then, of course, we'll wash the pool down again probably in the next week or so as we're getting ready to start putting tile around the water line. And then we'll patch in with plaster, and then we'll be ready to paint. And that'll be an exciting time. Certainly looking forward to that. So that wraps up this episode of Woodmere Estate Revival. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We're real happy with all the work that we got done this weekend. We got the deck jets plumbed in. We got them run all the way back to the pump house. And then we got about 3/4 of the fittings inside the pump house knocked down, checked, double checked, glued. So we're making a lot of headway there. I got to add one more check. So we're making a lot of headway there. I got to add one more check for the water feature for the deck jets, and then that's it. I mean, really just go through and make sure everything is situated where we want it, glue it in place, and so we're just about there. Real excited about that because that's been a chore, getting all that ready. Now that we've got all that stuff in place, we'll be ready to start covering it up with sand and go ahead and get ready to get our new concrete deck in place. And that's really going to transform this place. It's going to look amazing. Once all the dirt and weeds and stumps and everything are gone, it's really going to look fantastic back here. So thanks again for hanging out with us. Be sure to hit that subscription button so you don't miss a single episode of Woodmere Estate Revival. Keep checking back in, check on us, make sure we're making headway. It's been really exciting seeing all the progress here, and we've had the contractors here knocking out the electric and the plumbing and the HVAC while we've been working outside here. Soon they're going to be done. The drywall will be up, and we're going back in the house to finish out the rest of this project. So stick with us, lots of exciting stuff to come. Give us a like if you would please, and be sure to share the channel with your friends and family. We do appreciate that, and we'll see you guys again real soon. Thanks.